Good Grace Rock Show, the core of new rock and metal.
How have you been?
I've been okay. Isolation is interesting.
Yeah.
It's one way of putting it.
What have you been doing over your isolation then?
Well, sadly, my laptop pretty much broke a week into isolation, so I was like, okay, that's fabulous, just what I needed. But it's just been fixed. But
Nice.
it's being a little bit odd now, so I'm just trying to re-download Logic so I can just start writing loads of tunes, and then I will probably feel a lot better about the situation that I'm in.
Fair play.
Before I was in pure panic about not being able to do anything, but it's okay.
So I should probably introduce you, shouldn't I? So I'm talking to Lizzy Farrall, by the way. You've just released Bruise about a week ago. So how does it feel to have that out now?
It's weird because it's like one huge relief is one way to describe it. I think because I've sat on it for what feels like a lifetime. It's just like, I'm so glad it's out, and the response has been it's just been overwhelming. I think obviously everyone's a little bit like hesitant about their first debut and what the reaction will be. I think like a debut I think it's always like something that's good, but I think a lot of people see a lot of like you're going to grow as an artist. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm overwhelmed at how positive it has been. Like I was expecting a lot of like, oh, this is great potential. This is great, like a great first start, like your first foot in the industry is great, but it's not. It's been the complete opposite. It's been like, this is ridiculously good for like a debut. So yeah, honestly, I'm like so overwhelmed and so relieved, and it also even more relieved that people like it.
I know it's not necessarily the best time for it to have released, but it's actually a really good time for a release in terms of like, it's just so good to be able to just stream the full album and listen to it in full, which is what I've done myself, and I've really enjoyed it. I think it was called Yellow Paint. Gaslighting is really good as well, so 2 tracks right there. And then obviously it's great to see some of the tracks from the EP on there as well, so yeah, you get a nice good kind of mix of everything. So from what I saw, it was a 2-year process that you went through for this, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So
it was like,
how was that?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, like obviously a year writing isn't too extreme, I don't think, but then it was like actually sitting on a recorded album, finished and everything, ready to be released for another year, was a bit like, oh my god, is this ever going to come out? Because I think a lot of people don't realise that you really have to try and pick the best time that you think is possible to put this album out there. Like I think it's a lot of like patiently waiting for the right tour, or sometimes it works out better putting an album out at the beginning of the year in hope that then you get to tour for the whole rest of the year, and the album cycle can ideally be a really even year of, so it felt like we had the right time. And then sadly not so much now, but like you said, I don't think I could be too negative, because I feel that people are having to go back to their roots of, when I was a lot younger, there wasn't as many shows that you could go to and watch your favourite bands all the time as I think it is as accessible as it is now. Yeah. So I feel like people are sort of going back to their roots and being like, okay, we've got to like actually find new artists instead of going to gigs and seeing a support, because there isn't that. Exactly. So I'm hoping it's, there's a bit of like a positive outcome to this as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've still got to, well, hopefully, fingers crossed, you've just announced the rearranged show dates today. So, I mean, you're still getting to hang out with Set It Off and the rest of the guys.
Yes, I'm super excited.
Yeah, I can imagine you would be.
Yeah.
Set It Off sound like it'd be a pretty amazing band to tour with, to be honest.
Oh, definitely. They're lovely guys as well, super nice.
So, I'm going to go and talk about music videos. So you've done a fair few recently, and they're pretty cool. Is there anything that you've maybe kept from those music video shoots?
Yeah, I've got quite a few props actually. Obviously got all the rabbit masks.
Yes.
I'll be bringing them into the live shows,
I
which
love
will be
that.
sick. So yeah, I've currently got 3 sat in my wardrobe, and then I also have the like fake gun that was in Addict.
Oh yeah.
And to be fair, it wasn't until the other day that I actually removed the set panels for games out of my room.
Oh wow.
Because we filmed 2 music videos within where I live, because I live in this like converted college basically, so like a converted school. So I essentially live in a classroom, which is a bit odd, but it's huge, and it's like a ridiculous space. So we just built a lot of the music video sets within the room, which saved massively on budgets.
Oh god, yeah.
And worked really well. So I've got quite a few of the props, or some of the props were just things from my room. So yeah, I've kept quite a few bits, but yeah, the rabbit masks are my favourite, which are then going to come to the live shows and stuff, which will be really cool.
Nice. And you seem to be developing slowly over the course of these videos some kind of gore kind of theme, I suppose. I'm not necessarily in gaslighting, but it's definitely seeing it in maybe in games and Addict. So is this like your input, or is it input from like somebody who's like directing the videos?
No, so definitely I've done the last 3 videos, so games, Addict, and the last 4, so Barbados, games, Addict, and Gaslighting were all shot and co-directed by Zach Pinchin.
Fantastic director.
And me and him, like, we literally have got the same brain, I think, to be honest. And it's a lot of me being like, this is my idea, it's all weird, and he's just like, yeah, let's go with it. So a lot of it's pretty much all my idea, but obviously like the way he shoots and the way he wants it shot is all his, but they're all my concepts. I'm a big fan of like dark thrillers and like crime dramas, so yeah, I like to incorporate that within the music videos.
Nice, I love that. So obviously we've got a little bit of a while now to wait for you to be touring live, but have you got any plans maybe to do some little online stuff or anything in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I kind of wanted to do like a live stream, like full band set of the whole album, but I'm hopefully, if with the situation dies down a bit and we're more, we're actually allowed to see one another. Yeah. I would probably like to put something together with the band and do a live, like I said, a live sort of stream, but I might do a few acoustic stuff. I'm thinking about it. It's just, for me, it's like, I don't want to like people to see the first performance of it being stripped back.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like
fair enough.
I want people to experience it all live.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'll probably end up being sick of not playing shows in a couple of weeks and being like, okay, I'm just going to have to do these acoustically now because I'm going to die.
I mean, I've been loving the covers that you put out, especially the Sleep Token one, so maybe we could see a few more of them instead if you're not necessarily wanting to do that. So, I mean, speaking of which, have you got any albums that you've been listening to over this isolation period that you think would match well with Bruise?
To be honest, Sleep Token I haven't stopped not listening to that since it came out.
Yeah, I'm in love with that one.
And also, there's a singer, well, he's like I don't know what you kind of describe him as. He's called Oliver Tree. I don't know if you've ever listened to him.
Oh, I recognise the name.
Yeah, he's got a new, it's his latest EP called Alien Boy, and I've been listening to that like loads. Okay. I don't know if you could put Bruise with it. I don't know. I don't know where Bruise sits. I kind of feel like
it's its own thing, really, isn't it? Which is nice.
But yeah, they like that EP and also the new Loathe record. I just haven't stopped since it came out because it's just pure genius. So yeah, those are the sort of top 3 I've been listening to the most at the moment. Love
that. So before we wrap things up, obviously, I want to ask you one last question before I ask you the obvious question. Obviously, everybody's stuck in isolation. We're all bored as hell. Have you got any tips that you can suggest to people to stop the insanity looming in?
Okay.
Apart from tequila.
Well, I haven't. I sadly didn't get the grant for a Nintendo Switch that everyone else seemed to have got.
Damn.
So I haven't been able to play Animal Crossing, which is driving me mad. If you've got Animal Crossing and a Nintendo Switch, then I feel like you're not ever going to be bored. But if you haven't, I actually tried to look at old Nintendo Wii, the Nintendo Wii Animal Crossing, see if I could, but no, I can't find it. Okay, what I would say to be creative, I always think is a good one. Like, if it's just like drawing or colouring, I always think is like, also it's just great. It's like a great, like, mind, like to sort of get out of your own head. Yeah. I feel it's really calming and relaxing. I feel like in this situation, a lot of people are trapped in their own heads, especially if you live on your own. So I feel like just those little escapisms, even if it is playing a game on a game console or on your computer, they're just those little escapisms that you need sometimes.
Oh, well, thank you very much for your time, Lizzy.
Oh, no, thank you.
Is there anything else you want to say before you go? Anything else you want to promote or anything at all, or a little message?
Just look out for your friends in these times and your families, and make sure that you are talking to everyone that you can. I feel just keep checking up on each other is my only suggestion.
Thank you very much, Lizzy.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hey, Short Chris here. Don't forget you can listen to my show every Friday night on rhinoradio.co.uk from 8 p.m. UK time, and it's also repeated the next day on Saturdays at 2 p.m. as well. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking, sharing, and leaving a comment on the video as well. If you want to check out any of the previous videos and interviews that I've done, you can check it out here. And if you want to check out any music videos, well, especially the one that I've just interviewed the person for, you can check that out here. Anyway, thanks and bye!